Hi everyone, I'm Zihan, currently interning with Layer 5, and I've been working with Meshery Docs and Layer 5 dots for a while. So today I'd love to take you behind the scenes a bit, how the dots are structured, how they build, how you can contribute as well. By the end of the session, I hope you could feel a lot more comfortable finding your way around the Meshery Dots. So let's walk through how I actually get started as a contributor. First of all, we have two dots repo. One is Meshery, one is Layer 5 dots. So I will share the link of these two repositories in the chat. Yeah, but the process is similar. So today I will use Meshery dots as an example. First, set up your environments. You can, as Vivi just said, fork the repo and run the documentation locally. I will share the contributing dots guide in the chat also. We have platform-specific instruction here, so depending on whether you're using Windows, using Linux, or macOS, you need to find your own way to make it work out. And if you haven't set up yet, I encourage you to start it now. While I'm walking through the section, when we get to the feature section, you will be able to pick something you like and try out hands-on. Yeah, and also a quick reminder, as for every repo related to Layer 5 to Meshery, please remember to sign off, use this. Yeah, and once you make some changes, of course, you will run it locally to see if that looks good. But after you push your branch and open a pull request, we will send you a preview comments like this one. And please double check this link to see if that works well in that too. Because sometimes things just looks fine locally, but it breaks in the preview. So it's always good to check both. On the right, it's the main section of the Meshery dots. They are fairly intuitive, so I will just quickly walk you through them just to give you a feel where things are. The first is the overview installation. Here, basically everything about installation for the newcomers who try to install Meshery CLI, and in every platform using every tools. And the second concept is how Meshery works internally. It's really helpful for the contributors, especially if you need to work on models, components, like operator, breaker. Yeah, you really need to read the concepts related to that. Next is the guide and tutorial. There are a lot of things here. And you may feel like you don't understand what they're talking about at first. But once you start it, you are naturally focusing on the parts that interest you most. So that is things will get easier to understand them. For the extension extensibility, for the integration, extension, and extensibility, I will group them together since they're kind of similar. So integration and intentions, they are how Meshery can be extended and customized. For example, for the plugins like Canvas, I believe some of you have tried that. They are the extensions of Meshery. And what's the difference between these three? I would say extensibility is the capability. The extensions are the real-world tools built on it, and the integrations are what Meshery connect to. So you use the extensibility to build the extension, connect to the integration. Yeah. And the last is the contributing and community. You can find everything you need here. Whenever you try to contribute to the dots, to CI, to policy, some principles, the server, or or just all of them test everything. So you can find here. It's really helpful for every contributor. Yeah. And next, I want to highlight some really cool features we built in our dots. I have made an example page here. It was run locally, and I will put the code here. You can follow along, and you can copy everything you find interesting. If you already set up the dots locally, you can explore the code in the link I just sent before, the contributing dots. It contains all the features we have, all the style we have. You can, if you feel like you can't copy the code here, you can copy the docs there. Yeah. So the first one is the clipboard feature. Sometimes we want the user to copy a piece of code like a quick comment or snippet. So to do that, we use the code HTML to wrap the code. It says a little clipboard icon automatically. So you click and it shows copied. There are two ways to use that. The first one is the simple. If you are just insert the string directly to it, then it will show like this. But once it contains some special characters, then you need to capture first, then pass in it. Otherwise, the liquids will throw errors. So you can see the both example here. Alright, so moving to something you will see a lot in the dots, the alert box. You can see everywhere the alert box, like here. And sometimes when we write dots, you want to highlight something like warning, success message, or just some extra info. So for that, we use the alerts HTML to give a nice consistent style, just like the code HTML mentioned before. Here's the basic syntax. Basically, you just need to change the type, title, or content. The type we have not just 3 of them, we have more. You can discover them in the contribute to dots guide. And so far, I just use these 3 common style we use. You can change the type to get different style. Also, you can change the title and content. But if you don't define a title, like here, we will give you a default one. Yeah. And the next one is super important, is the image handling. It's every contributor at some point needs to insert the screenshots or a diagram into the dots. So we have 3 ways to do that. The first one is the easiest. It's just use the Markdown syntax to insert the image. It's clickable, and it have a lightbox efforts. Also, it's adapted to every size. It's great, but sometimes the image ends up too big, so there are no easy way to resize it. So we have the second way to insert image, customer size. Basically, it's just use the HTML way and add the you can add the width and height into it. Still, it's clickable. So it's great. And the third way, static inline images. It works. You can see the image here, but don't use that. Don't use this way. This is not clickable. And here was a very clear image, but since you got a small one, this is really a bad reading experiences for the user. Yeah, so whenever you try to add an image, make it clickable and make it at a good size. The next is the quotes. is basically exactly like the Markdown. You just use this greater than sign as the beginning of a line. So it's perfect to calling out important remarks like quotes, tips, or something you want to make stand out without using a full alert box. Yeah, and all these features is adapt beautifully to both the light mode and the dark mode. So try to switch in, and you will see they still look great. Everything was clear. Yeah. So now we talk about how to contribute and what features are available. Let's take a quick step at how we rendered and how the structure are built. So first of all, Meshery use Jekyll, this one, as a static site generator. We write our dots using the Markdown, but what makes it work as the HTML web page is two important tools. One is the Yama front matter, one is the liquid. The Yama front matter is the metadata at the top of the Markdown file, as you see here. And the liquid, I will show you later, is basically the templating language that lets us reuse our logic and layout. So for the example page I just show you, you can see the first matter shows the layout, title, permalink, all the thing about it. Let's look into the first one, layout page. You can see in the under the page, under the dots data layouts, then you can see we have all kinds of layouts. Here is the page house, which is this one. This is pretty simple. Yeah, basically it's just the contents. It shows where you to add Markdown content here, and the if as add some logic as a if statement. Then it says the clipboard here. Basically, it tells if you find their code here, use this clipboard style. And if we dig into deeper, we can see the default layout, which is here. This is much more complex than the page HTML. It contains everything we need as a whole web page. So here, clipboard script and header here. The dark light bottom, this one. The container and like the breadcrumb, which is the you can see here, the breadcrumb, and suggested reading is on the bottom of the page. Suggested reading here, and you'll see table of contents here. So instead of repeating all the HTML on the every page, we just include these snippets, clean, reusable, and much easier to maintain. This is a typical flow. We generated this example page, use page HTML, then go to the default one, then we got the whole page. Yeah, and one quick thing to highlight here is the table of contents, which is this. You may notice that, or you may not, Meshery doesn't automatically generate the TOC from the heading of a page. So this is not because we don't want to, it's actually because the current size is built with Jekyll, as I just said, and it doesn't provide an easy way to do the out of the box. So instead, we manage this manually. You can find data and TOC Yama here. This is all the thing we show here. Tells you where to place this, and when you click configuration management, it will show the things here. So, but also if you have explored the layer file dots, you might find that the layer file dots is automatically generated. That's because layer file dots use the Hugo. It's another static site generator, but Hugo supports the automatic generation. Yeah. So depending on the different website you're working on, you may try to organize the structure differently. Once you get how Markdown, formatter, layout, liquid all work together, you are not just writing tasks, you are basically designing the whole experience of the page. So before we wrap up, I would like to quickly share a few tips that might help you when contributing to the docs. They aren't strict rules, they're just some friendly best practice that make your writing easier to read. The first one, use active voice. Instead of Meshery can be config, you can config Meshery. It is more clear and direct. It's easy to follow. The next is keep the scene short and clear. So if you're trying to write a long explanation, try to divide them either using breaking into paragraphs or adding images or add alerts blocks or the quotes I just mentioned. Basically just try to divide them. Yeah, and the third, to be consistent with the term. Once you start say you, not try to switching them between the user, the developer, they. It helps the writing feel more coherent. And on the right, I list some helpful links. So if you, in case you want to explore more, and I will drop all of this in Slack later after the session. Also, I want to say that all the skills, they may be important, but the most important thing is that you need to make sure you really understand what you are trying to explain. Not every tip here needs to apply it every time, but the most important thing is that your content is easy to follow and is helpful for the user. This is what a good documentation is really about. So yeah, that's a quick overview of how Meshery Docs works and how you can contribute and how things are built. If you have any questions or ideas later on, feel free to message me on Slack or on the documentation channel. I will be happy to help anytime. Yeah, thanks so much for listening. Hope you have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jihan. So let's take a look if anyone has any question around how they can, work their way around the docs. So if I remember, you mentioned about two docs. So layer 5 IO docs and then Meshery/Meshery. Both of them uses different static site generators, like the frameworks. One is Jekyll and another one is Hugo. So yeah, and and we'll make sure that we have that slide deck, shared into this Google Docs. So we'll be very shortly linking that. But yeah, for now, if you have any question around whatever Jihan just shared, you can unmute and ask. So she will be there to answer your questions. And I see Liben has already his hand raised. So I think you can go ahead and ask your question, Liben.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. But I'm afraid that your voice is, lower.
Okay, listen, let me raise my voice. And my question is like when the task is a documentation task, it's going to be the content, right? As well, the everything is set up, so we are not going to invent the wheel from scratch. We just have to come up with a good document. It's more of technical writing kind of task, right? Is that it or something different? That was my question.
Yeah, so just like Jihan demonstrated, we have reusable components for many things that are repeatedly used. For example, code like copy to clipboard functionality or various logos that we have. Or let's say you want to flag a content as alert. So yeah, we are not reinventing the wheel. We are just we have made some reusable components from the Jekyll community or Hugo community, and we are also making our own custom reusable components, and then we are utilizing them across the site whenever we need them. So was it the question that you were asking?
So when a task is a documentation task, it will be more of a technical writing task. Is it the case? That was my question.
Okay, so your question is if there is a technical task, a technical writing task that you're assigned to, and then?
I mean, let's say there was some task that hopefully me and Adinab issues here. So I was asking if the task is just writing the technical details, right? Is it going to be like that, or should we worry more about the web aspects? Is that clear?
I'm afraid if we are able to understand like and hear what you're saying. So is it possible for you to write it down in chat, or let me see if Jihan was able to know your question? Jihan, by any chance, did you get what Liban was trying to say? I think his voice was a little lower on the volume.
No,
So
essentially.
yeah, so be sure to ask your question in the chat, Liban, and so that way we will be able to help. Or you also can reach out in Slack in public channels. So, but very briefly, Jihan, do you want to share anything about technical writing? So whenever there is a issue open for writing a technical documentation on docs, for example, if I pull up this issue. Yeah, so we are into layer 5 docs, which is a Hugo site, and there must be some technical, documentation in need of being written. So like there would be a issue on how you can start from Kubernetes manifest, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so this one. So before we actually like anyone who is looking to trying taking a crack at this issue, first let's navigate to the documentation section where there's another similar sections. So for example, if we go to getting started, which is linked into the issue.
Hey, Vivek, your voice is.
Yeah, is it still breaking?
It's clear now.
Yeah, okay. So this is the getting started section, and there are guides for how to start from scratch or how to start from a Helm chart, but there's none for how to start from a Kubernetes manifest. And so this is an issue for that. Yes, it does require for you to have some understanding of Kubernetes manifest and the system that is there, but you also then can take inspiration from how these docs are structured and written. So that could be something that you can take a look at. And again, if you have any clarifying questions, and I think Liban is already in here, so once again you can ask the issue author. You can also join the weekly meetings or ask in Slack too. So I think hopefully that answered your question. I wonder if Jihan has anything to add.
No, everything was yeah, it's great.
Okay. Alrighty, so I think we will be taking a look at the pull requests to see if we missed anyone from the activity. All right, so we are into this Meshery, GitHub repo, and I can see many of you already have your attendance PR up, and we are missing a couple of you. So you have said that you will be, doing it afterwards. So Abhay and Shiv. So basically, if you were not able to listen to what the activity was, you basically can take inspiration from any one of these pull requests. That is basically creating a file and adding the contents into that file around your profile that you would want other members to know about you, and simply having a pull request up. So hopefully the link also for that folder where you are supposed to write the file is like linked into this Google Docs. That's meeting minutes for this call and also is right now being shared in the chat box.
क्या बना? पता नहीं.
So Mahadevan, like, do you want to, like, by any chance, can you unmute yourself? Like, mute yourself, sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. And in the very end, I would like to once again share that there's some resources and notes into the end of the meeting minutes that once again you can explore. For example, Meshery Playground, which is a live environment for you to learn more about cloud native concepts and Kubernetes. Right in your browser, you don't need to install anything. So that there's a link around that, various learning paths that we have. Our community forum, I think we did not discuss about our community forum. So let's quickly take a look at that. So just like Slack, there is another venue from where you can ask any question or can collaborate with others or answer others' question if you have some hint regarding that. So for example, this is the main page. I'll be dropping this in chat. And let's say if you're running into an issue, you also can utilize the search box to look for the answers. It's possible that someone already has encountered the error that you are coming across right now. And various announcements and community events are also onto the forum. So that's pretty much about the forum. At the very end, if you have got any feedback for us, or if you just simply want to say thank you or any thoughts on how we can improve this experience for you, feel free to drop them all into this thread. So I'll make sure that I drop this link in chat. So yeah, this is the way for you to suggest anything that you want to. And then let's also briefly once again talk about the meeting calendar. So on every Monday, we have sites meeting, which is basically focused on sites, UI, UX, and our design system. And on Wednesday, we have Meshery development meeting. On Thursday, that is today, we are having newcomers meeting right now, where like mostly all the sessions like this will be happening. So the next week we will be having a session on how to contribute to CLI testing using bats. And I think I already shared with you the issue where you can track that. And then all the other meetings like Meshery build and release meeting, any other community events, you can find all of them into this calendar. So once again, this link is shared in the chat box. You simply can click onto the yellow button to get it synced with your calendar. And I think that was all, folks. If you now have any general question around the sessions or anything in particular on the community and project, we are already 1 minute over, but we'll be waiting for 2 minutes to see if we can get answers for your queries. If not, we'll be wrapping up, and I'll see you next Thursday. So let's wait for 10 seconds if anyone has any question. You can unmute or say it through the chat. Yeah, sure. So we'll be dropping meetings like the recording for this meeting later on our YouTube channel. So once again, there's link to our YouTube into the header of this docs. Let me quickly drop that in. So there you will find the recording. All right. So it looks like we don't have any question today, any more questions. So I think we are good to wrap. So thanks everyone for listening in. Thanks a lot, Zihan, for sharing the training material with everyone. We will see you next Thursday or on the other sites like the community meetings if you join them. So yeah, bye everyone. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
So Mahadevan, since you are the host, you will likely need to end the meeting for everyone.
Yes, I'll do that.